Looking for Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins with fast delivery? IG Vault has the cheapest and most reliable coins on the market. Click the link in the description and use coupon code SPORTS for 6% off your order. Yo, what's up YouTube? It's Duke back here from sportsgamers.com. I'm super excited for today's Madden 21 tip video. We're going to break down possibly the best passing play, the best money play in the game right now. This is a money play from Gun Bunch, and Gun Bunch once again is one of, if not the best passing offenses in the game. Gun Bunch with the bunch tight end, trips tight end, etc. They're all very good, but you do see a lot of pros running this play, and I'm actually going to break down two setups in this video that you guys can use to attack any defense out there. We're going to be going over the metas right now, man and zone, specifically the 3-5 wide. A lot of people are running this 3-5 wide right now, and a lot of people are either running cover 2 man with safeties over the top and then the man coverage underneath. With using shading underneath, I actually went over that in a recent tip video. Some people are still running the cover 0 with purples, shaded over the top, man coverage. And also some people are running cover 3. Those are primarily the most common defenses you're seeing right now. We'll go over how to attack everything. So let's take a look now at it. So the first defense we're going to break down how to beat is the cover 2 man. Now, we're in the Jets playbook on offense. I actually run the Jets playbook myself, but you can find the play I'm about to show you in many playbooks with Gun Bunch. Pretty much the majority of them have it, and the play we want to look at is bench pivot. Now, we're going to move the ball back, and I do recommend having the bunch on the wide side of the field. So here, since we're lined up on the left hash, that means the right side of the field is the wide side, therefore the bunch will be over there. Now, guys, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, and give us a like. Also, if you want my full offensive and defensive schemes, check out sportsgamers.com. We got the best Madden 21 tips and ebooks by far. So, we're going to look at the tight end route specifically on this play. It's extremely effective. The tight end is absolutely insane at beating man coverage and just any coverage in general, honestly. The tight end this year is huge. And I do recommend having a good tight end here. If possible, you want him to be fast with the 90 route running. With the Chiefs, Kelsey, he's a pretty good tight end, but he does not have the 90 route running. He's just fast. But you will see that it's going to work regardless. But when you do have 90 route running or higher, you definitely will notice more separation, as you guys can see here. He does have 90 short, but I was talking about medium or even deep. But mostly medium is what you want for tight ends. Anyways, this route is still going to get crazy separation. Now, also I do like the smart route to the left outside receiver on that out route to go a little bit deeper. You can see it's about the same regardless, but if you are at say like a 2nd and 12 or a 2nd and 13 or 14, whatever, those extra few yards do make a difference. Only other thing I do is I just streak the slot receiver, and this is mostly if they're going to run a zone coverage. It allows you to get a little bit of a flood concept going on. But let's focus on the tight end here. First of all, how he beats man to man. You guys can see he gets a little bit of separation on that break, even without the route running, and it's going to allow him to get open. Now, we're going to shade underneath this time, which is what a lot of people are currently doing. Now, I will also say that if you have the ability to roll out, when you roll out with this route, you can create even more separation for you guys to get the throw in there. But this is going to be very consistent. This is something that even if you play Mutt, if someone has a one step ahead, manned up on your tight end, as long as you have a good tight end, it still gets open. So this is a route that you can consistently rely upon to beat even corners and safeties with one step ahead, as long as you have a good tight end. Now, if you don't have the route running in Mutt, he's not going to get as open. But if you do, this is something that works pretty much every single time against man coverage. The best thing about this is it even works against purple zones pretty well because it kind of breaks before most people, will put the purples at like 20 or 25, right? And if they're playing cover 0 with these purples, it's still going to break underneath them the majority of the time. Or, even if they just use cover 2 man with purples, it doesn't really matter. It's still going to get open. That's another great thing about this play is that it just is that reliable. So let's take a look at this now. So the other way people are going to run this is that they press and shade over the top, but then they put these linebackers into purple zones. Then they just use this guy over the middle, right? Well, again, you're going to notice the tight end, he's still going to get open on this type of defense because, as you guys can see here, notice how he just gets open on the sideline. He just kind of gets right by that purple zone. Now, that's why I love this play, is because the purples don't affect it. You can't really shade over the top and put purple zones, because the purple zones, they just don't, I mean, they get deep, but you can see here, you can throw it on the sideline, and it still gets that really good separation to where you can make this throw and catch very consistently, even if they put purple zones out there. And I'll do that again just so you can see how easy that is. And then we're going to get into some other routes on this play, because believe it or not, this play does attack man coverage, even, with the outside left receiver, not just the tight end. So let's look at this one more time. This time I'm just stay in the pocket. Look, you guys can see you can literally just throw this open on the sideline, even from the pocket, and it gets behind those purple zones, or I should say by them. Now, the purple zones will drop back a little bit too deep sometimes, that you can throw it underneath, but if they're in the area they were there, you can actually throw it late on the sideline. Now, the other great thing about this play is, like I said, it's not just hitting the tight end. You can also hit the left receiver against man coverage. That's on the little in route. This is very, very effective route against man coverage. So you guys can see here, you can just throw a low pass and it's money in the bank. We got an inaccurate pass, but it still worked. Another thing to mention about this play is if you know they're in man coverage, you might just want to keep that slot receiver on that little pivot type route, because he's going to break back open to the sideline just like that, and he's going to get very good separation against man coverage. And that's not really that great of a route for zone, but against man, that is extremely good. You guys can see here, I'll do it once again. Just wait for him to break to the outside and just throw a bull pass in there, and that's an easy throw and catch. So that's potentially 3 easy reads you have against man coverage. You might want to put the running back out of the backfield if you know they're in man coverage too, but primarily you don't really need anybody else, because the tight end especially is just so money. Then you combine the low pass on the in route and potentially the slot receiver, and that's more than enough. Now, another extremely common defense is just cover 3. Now, we're going to look at stock cover 3 first, and then I'm going to break down what to do if they start using zone drops. But again, plays just bench pivot, right? All we're going to do is look to streak the slot receiver, and if you have a longer distance to go, like say 12 to 15 yards, you can smart route Watkins on the outside left. But as is, it's not that big of a deal. If it's like just, about 8-10 yards to go or something normal, I wouldn't smart route them then. Just if they're a lot of yards to go, basically. So this is the defense that a lot of people are running right now, this Mike Blitz 3, and they're basically just going to go ahead and put these guys kind of like, man them up or put them in hard flats or whatever the case may be to make it a little bit harder to throw, certain routes open, right? So if you have a hard flat, it's going to take away the quick little out route, right? But still, as you guys can see here, the purple zones, they just don't, even when their zone drops are on, they just don't really guard the sideline corner route well enough. As you guys can see here, the tight end is wide open on the sideline, even with the zone drops on and the hard flat taking this guy away. Now, the streak is important because the streak is going to basically get that deep zone defender out of the mix, as you guys can see here. So now it's just the purple zone, and this route beats the purple zone every single time. Now, one thing you might want to keep in mind is some people do sometimes blitz from cover 3, and they won't guard the sideline. So if they do something like that, you can just quickly throw to the flat. So you don't always have to rely just upon the tight end. If they're not going to guard the flat, which sometimes a lot of people won't, that's just an easy throw and catch. And as you guys can see there, we actually got a decent amount of yardage. So if they don't have a hard flat out there, especially if they turn their zone drops on, don't even wait for the tight end to get open. Just throw this quick breaking route into the flat, and you will get lots of yards. Now, you're probably wondering, what if they just go ahead and they take their user and they run with the tight end out of cover 3 and they have hard flats with those purples? Well, if they do that, that's fine, because that's why we actually have that left receiver. That's another great thing about them against zone. Now, if they're not blitzing you, another thing I would recommend is sending your running back out of the backfield, whether it's on like a ghost route or a swing route or an out or a flat, just something to get him out of the backfield. That will give you another read. But it's not that big of a deal. However, if they are not blitzing you, I definitely would recommend doing that. But anyways, let's look at what happens if they try to go and guard your corner route with the user, which a lot of people might do. And that's why this in route over the middle field, the dig, is so important. It just breaks perfectly back over the middle field, so that if they go and try to take that tight end route away and they also have the flat covered, you can go ahead and attack them, over the middle of the field. Because what that is going to do is it's going to make the user make a choice. No longer can he just say, well, they're not really ever hitting me over the middle of the field, so I'm just going to go guard the tight end, because if they do that, we'll hit that in route, And now that's going to make them stay home. And if they stay home, we're going to just throw the corner route every single time. Now you might say, well, what if they just put this guy in a hook zone, right, and they don't guard the flat over there? Well, in that case, that's why the running back should be going out of the backfield, so that you can just throw to the running back if there's no flat zone. However, even with that said, if they put a hook zone there, believe it or not, the hook zone's not going to actually cover the in route. You're still going to be able to throw this in route even with a hook zone sitting there. You just have to wait a second longer for it to break, just like that. You know what I mean? So that's not going to stop the route either. Even if they man him up out of zone, at that point you just throw a low pass. Now the other thing I might recommend is using playmaker in your offense, because when you use playmaker in your offense, you can playmaker these like in routes and little quick routes into the flat. You can playmaker them in the opposite direction, and playmaker is, in my opinion, the best ability in the game right now on offense because it's just so easy to abuse. It really is difficult to defend a play like this, and then you add playmaker into the mix. It's pretty much impossible. But also remember, send the running back out of the backfield, just hit them in the flats if they don't guard the flats, and you're going to have easy yardage. Now, you might be wondering, does this work the same if they play a similar concept but just from cover 4? And it does. It's essentially the same thing. You just basically want to see if they're guarding the flats or not. The purple zones still, if they have purple zones, don't really defend this corner route to the tight end very well. Like I said, this corner route to the tight end might be the best route in the game right now. There's so many different ways to abuse it. Now, the other setup I did want to show you guys is essentially just going to be to drag this outside receiver, and then I motion him across the formation. This drag is going to get open in the flat, but also over the middle of the field, so that if they do have a hard flat, you can actually still throw the drag over the middle, and it's going to be there. So that's another really good way to attack zone coverage, is just to hit them with the drag. That's a motion, because now if they do have those purples dropping back really far, you can hit the drag. But also, as you can see, the corner route still gets open against cover 4. The deep zone will not stop it. It gets open not only in the flat, but over the middle of the field too. But like here, if they have their purple zones with the zone drop on, if you motion the drag over, what's going to happen is by the time it gets over to the right side of the field, it's going to have a good 10, 15 yards, maybe more. That time we didn't get quite as much, but it's there. The other thing that does is that makes the user respect the drag too. So like, let's say that this guy's the user right here, or whoever's the user. Let's just say that he's the user, Devin White. If they see that the motion drag is coming, they're probably going to have to play that with their user unless they have the flat guarded. But see how they kind of just sit down on it, and then we can throw that? Well, I guess we got hit as we were throwing. But we could throw that all day long to the in route right as he breaks, because the user is having to respect the drag route. Let's do that one more time. So you guys can see that does impact the user. He's going to have to go guard that, and then we can just throw that right in that little soft spot. So these two setups are really good to mix up. They essentially do the same thing in that whether you have just a quick little flat route by Robinson and we don't motion him, or we motion him on a drag, either way he's going to make the user respect the flat, but we're just doing it in different ways, and it's just a little variation you can use to keep the defense off guard. So hope you guys enjoyed this tip. Like I said, I use the Jets playbook on offense, and you can pick up my Jets offensive guide on sportsgamers.com. But you can also find this play in many other playbooks as well. Hope you guys enjoy it.